Hey guys, Mike here and welcome back to the channel. Well, a couple of weeks ago I asked on my community tab if there was any interest in me doing a Q&A, which was always going to be a huge risk for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not that interesting, and what could people possibly ask me or want to know about me? And second, I've got history in this area. Anyway, so questions. Alrighty, no questions on Twitter. Okay, that's all right. I don't use Twitter much. Alrighty, let's move across to Instagram. It's my favorite. I'm on Instagram a lot lately. Okay, nothing. Am I looking in the... Must be something wrong with that one. So I think this. Anyway, look, well, let's move across to Facebook. Facebook is always a goodie for questions. See my latest post there in the latest video. Oh, some very nice compliments, but absolutely no questions. They probably won't even believe this set. Hey, look at it, it's just a sheet. Okay, so, hey, thanks for joining us. Be sure to leave some comments in the section below. Feel free to ask me any questions, anything. Yeah, right, seriously, anything. Yep, not so good. Link to that video in the description below. Anyway, nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and I asked people to go ahead and post a question. I was pleasantly surprised to see that I did get a few, more than enough to make a video about, so today I'm going to go through them and answer them all to the best of my ability. Thanks to everyone who asked a question, and please let me know in the comment section below if this is something you want me to do again in the future. Anyway, let's crack into it. I've got my laptop open, so let's get into it, and in no particular order. Okay, first one is from the other photo guy. There's a story behind this one. Okay, I'm keen. If you're offered either to receive every upcoming DJI drone a month before the market does for the next 5 years, or a brand new top-of-the-line S-Series combine harvester by John Deere to keep, which would you choose? Now, I know the other photo guy. It's a guy called Corey, who's based in Wellington. He's a photographer, and I was lucky enough to meet him a few months back. My daughter had a dance comp down in Wellington, so we went and checked that out for the weekend, and Corey reached out, and we caught up for breakfast and had a good old yarn, and it was really, really fun. He's a lovely guy. Met his wife, Bex, as well, and we had a really nice catch-up. He's got a cool channel, so go and check it out, the other photo guy. And so on your question, would I get every upcoming drone a month before the market does for the next 5 years, or a brand new top-of-the-line combine harvester? Now, I did think about this, and I see there's some tricky bits in your question because it says to keep, so I'm not allowed to sell it. Now, I think a combine harvester is worth around $500,000, so my first inclination would be to take the combine harvester and sell it, but I look like I have to keep it. So I'll take the drone. I'll take the drone a month before the market does for the next 5 years, because drone videos on this channel seem to be going really, really well, and that'll give me plenty of material to make more videos. So thanks, Corey. On to the next one from Andrew Griffiths. Could you please recommend the best flying apps and explain meetings? For example, what does OpenSky mean when it says restricted area requires approval to fly when the area is active? When is it active, and who do I get approval from? Complete newbie here, thanks. Okay, sorry to burst your bubble, Andrew. I don't know anything about OpenSky. It's an app that's only available in 3 countries from my research, the US, Finland, and Australia, which is where it was developed. So I can't help you out there. Restricted area requires approval to fly when the area is active. I'm guessing that would mean you're not allowed to fly in that area when there's stuff happening, like other airplanes or other aircraft or something like that. I'd suggest maybe, since we can't have the app here, have a closer look at it, and I'm sure in there it'll say where you can get approval from. As for other flying apps, I only really use 2 others. One is UAV Forecast. I'll make sure I put a graphic on the screen, and that's a cool app because it shows you the weather conditions for your local area, and it sort of gives them a traffic light system, sort of green, amber or red, and everything from sort of the wind, the temperature, the number of satellites,
that you can hook up to in the area you're in at that time of the day, and it basically gives you an overall rating whether it's good to fly or not good to fly. So I've been using that for the last couple of months and it's really good. The only other one, because I'm based in New Zealand, there's an app called AirShare. Again, I'll make sure I put a graphic on the screen, and that tells you where you can and can't fly, basically. So it's like a map app. It finds where you are, and on the screen you can see zones, whether you're allowed to fly or whether they're restricted because you're near an airport, or it's a military zone, or it's just a no-fly zone. So AirShare, always check before you fly in New Zealand. The DJI Fly app also has that sort of functionality, but because the AirShare app is specifically for New Zealand, that's why I sort of go with that one. And those are the only two that I use. Next up, we've got Drone to Joy, and they say, what and who is developing much quieter props for the Mini 2? MAS came out recently with new ones for the Mini 2, but in my opinion, after trying them out and measuring comparative decibel levels to the originals, there's no discernible difference whatsoever. This will be the next big thing, much quieter props. I tend to agree, because one of the things that does attract attention of people around you when you're flying your drone is the noise. Now, interesting you should ask me this question, because literally a couple of weeks ago, one of the viewers on my channel, Blair Air, he's also got a channel, I'll link it down below, you should check it out, some fantastic drone footage. He actually suggested MAS, which is Master Air Screw, because he'd got some props that he'd tried out on his Mini 2. And they're meant to be low noise. I looked at his video, I reached out to him and asked where he got them from. He sent me the link, and I'll put the link in the description below. And I've literally bought them the same day I watched that video. They're coming from the United States out here to New Zealand. So I will let you know what they are like when I try them. According to Blair, the pitch is different. It's a lower pitch, which sort of makes it overall quieter. So you've obviously got something to measure it, but it'll just be whether it sounds like they're quieter or not. I'm pretty excited to try them out, but on Blair's video, the lower pitch does seem to make them quieter, but we'll see. Now, a Google search on low noise props for the Mini 2, there seems to be quite a few out there. I haven't tried any others. I don't know whether they're any good. They're not that dear, so it would suggest that, you know, maybe they're just people saying that they're quieter. Don't know. I guess the proof's in the pudding, but I'll do a video when I get those and I'll try them out and see if there's any difference. But Master Air Screw are the only ones that I know who are reputable and are selling lower noise props for the Mini 2. Hope that answers your question. Nigel Whiffen asks, is the Mini 2 still king, even with the Hubsan poking its nose in? Yes, I believe the Mini 2 still is king. I've seen a few reviews for the Hubsan Mini Pro. I haven't got the drone myself, but the reviews were pretty, as they say in China, mama-hoo-hoo, pretty average, not so good. I think with DJI, because you're getting like proven technology, you are getting a reliable product, you're getting good sort of after service sales backup, there's good documentation, you know, they've got a good track record, they make quality products. I just don't think you can go wrong versus something like Hubsan. Having said that, Mini 2, to answer your question, Mini 2 is still king in my view. You know, it's really hitting the sweet spot in terms of price, capability, functionality, size, portability, all of that stuff. It really is just like the perfect drone for most people, unless you're into commercial or professional sort of grade stuff. But even those people still have the Mini 2 in their kit bag as well. So fantastic little drone, and I just love it to bits and can't really say, you know, enough about it. From Bella and Simon, just curious, in your opinion, NTSC or PAL, any benefits either way these days? Hope all's well across the ditch. Cheers, mate. So obviously from Australia, yep, going pretty well, mate. Cheers for that. Now, NTSC is an analog TV color system used in North America, Central America, parts of South America, I think, whereas PAL is kind of everywhere else. It's definitely Europe, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Asia. And I don't know that it really matters so much these days. It was sort of more around analog TVs, whereas most things are digital these days. from a setting perspective on your camera, you've got NTSC or PAL, and it does impact the frames per second that you can get on your camera. And one or the other, will give you flickering and things like that. Having said that, I mean, I'm in a PAL country, and I've recorded a whole bunch of videos on PAL, a whole bunch of videos on NTSC. I can't really see any difference. So look, because you're an Aussie, go PAL, then you'll know theoretically you're using the right one. But actually, if for whatever reason you're accidentally on NTSC, I don't think you really notice any difference, to be honest, mate. Not a question, but a statement from Brock Kane saying, yes, do it, Mike. Do the Q&A. Okay, Brock, taking your advice. Thank you. Abko Khan, my question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? I guess I wasn't specific in terms of, what sorts of questions I wanted, but that's not one I really considered. But I have got an answer for you. At some point in evolutionary history, when there were no chickens, two birds that were almost but not quite chickens mated and laid an egg that hatched into the first chicken. So if you're prepared to call that egg a chicken's egg, then the egg came first. So thanks, Abkar, for your question. Rushal Ramjing, can you do 10 revolutions with a hula hoop? Yes. Now, I'd prove it to you, but I don't have a hula hoop handy, and I'm in lockdown, so I can't get a hula hoop. Sorry, you just have to take my word for it. Question from Mo Isa, how is the lockdown treating you? So, pretty good, I got to say. I get it's all about sort of what's going on up here. We've had multiple lockdowns in New Zealand, as a lot of countries have over the last couple of years. We're in week 5 of this lockdown. We're still at the highest level of lockdown, so we can't do anything other than go out for a short amount of exercise. You can go to supermarkets and things like that, but you've got to wear masks, and there's lots of restrictions. All the other shops and everything are shut. As for this lockdown treating me, it's okay. It's a little bit cramped. To give you a little bit of backstory, so there's me, my wife, and 2 kids, 11 and 14. We're living in an apartment. When the first lockdown hit in February 2020 here in New Zealand, we were in the process of relocating to Shanghai in China. So we'd moved out of our house. We'd either sold or given away all of our stuff. We'd sent a little bit to China, but then lockdown hit and we couldn't go. We moved in the first 12 months about 7 times to different temporary accommodations because we didn't know whether we could go. It was a case of, can we go next week? Can we go next month? Maybe next month, maybe the month after. And we're still here, and we're in a small sort of apartment as temporary accommodation, waiting for the all clear to go to China. It's pretty small compared to the house that we had. I'm making videos in a little sort of garage storage area. I'll take a little video of it and show you what I mean. And the setup is, let's say it's not ideal, but we're making the best of the situation. It is what it is. So hopefully very soon we'll be able to lock down. And whilst we're still in the apartment waiting to go to China, at least we can get out and do stuff and catch up with people and socialise and that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess it sucks for a lot of people, but it is what it is. Another question here from Your Mum So California. Can I fly an airplane with my drone? If yes, is there a procedure? I think that may be a little bit lost in translation. I'm not too sure. Are you asking maybe can you pair a controller, your drone controller, with a remote control plane? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about that one. Okay, so it sounds like somebody's about to come into the garage, which is, you know, what you get for making videos when you can, where you can. Now, I was thinking about doing a live stream to answer all of today's questions, and I've done quite a bit of work behind the scenes to prepare for that. But after analysing where my viewers come from, the time zone difference is so huge, it's actually really hard to pick a time when most people would be awake, let alone online. I'm still really keen to do a live stream, so I'll keep working on that idea. So that's it for today. Thanks again to everyone who posted a question, and be sure to let me know in the comments section below if you want me to do one of these again in the future. Now, lately during lockdown here in New Zealand, I've been taking quite a few pictures while on my daily walks. So if you'd like to see those, then be sure to check out the videos here. Cheers, guys.